Try drinking rosemary tea daily and see the changes in your body. While tea and coffee are commonly consumed for their comforting properties, have you ever considered adding rosemary to your tea? Rosemary tea is a delicious and fragrant beverage that not only satisfies your taste buds, but also provides numerous health benefits. In this article, we will delve into the scientific basis for rosemary's medicinal properties. We will discuss how it can be used to treat a range of conditions from digestive issues to neurodegenerative diseases. Stay tuned until the end for easy tips and recipes on incorporating rosemary into your diet. Rosemary is a versatile herb with a fresh herbal scent, woody nature, and distinct aroma. Its needle-like leaves and oil are commonly used in cooking and for medicinal purposes. It has a rich history of both culinary and medicinal applications. What are its most popular traditional medicinal uses? Rosemary offers numerous health benefits due to its active compounds and properties. It possesses anti-inflammatory properties and has a distinct flavor and aroma. Additionally, rosemary is abundant in phenolic compounds, which have strong antioxidant and antimicrobial properties. Before using fresh rosemary from the field, ensure that it is properly cleaned and washed. Alternatively, you can obtain it from herbal stores. Here are 10 compelling reasons to drink rosemary tea daily. Helps improve blood sugar levels. Rosemary is particularly beneficial for individuals with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes mellitus. It enhances insulin sensitivity, making the insulin produced by the pancreas more effective in controlling glucose. Additionally, rosemary contains substances that mimic insulin, further contributing to its ability to regulate blood sugar levels. Improves blood circulation. Rosemary dilates blood vessels, reducing blood pressure and improving circulation. This not only lowers the risk of heart and brain complications associated with high blood pressure, but also increases oxygen delivery to tissues and promotes efficient removal of waste products. Rosemary has substances that possess anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which help lower the risk of thrombosis. However, it is important to be cautious about consuming too much rosemary tea or other forms, as excessive intake may result in side effects. I will discuss these side effects later. If you have medical conditions, especially multiple ailments, or if you are taking medications, it is crucial to consult a doctor before using rosemary as a supplementary remedy. This also applies to considering other herbs, supplements, or medicinal plants. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so as not to miss new informative videos. Relieves digestive problems. Rosemary is well known for its positive impact on intestinal health. It has a long history of being used to address various digestive issues such as gas, bloating, and abdominal pain. Rosemary helps to relax the muscles in the digestive tract, reducing discomfort and promoting better digestion. Additionally, it stimulates the gallbladder to produce bile, which aids in the digestion of fats and improves overall digestive function. Rosemary is highly beneficial for individuals with irritable bowel syndrome due to its anti-inflammatory properties. It can also help manage inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Additionally, rosemary plays a crucial role in maintaining a healthy gut environment by balancing the intestinal microbiota. It acts as a prebiotic, nourishing the beneficial bacteria that are essential for our health. Moreover, rosemary's antimicrobial properties target and inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria and fungi. Enhances brain functions. Rosemary is increasingly recognized for its potential brain benefits by scientists. Its key component, carnosic acid, fights brain damage caused by free radicals. Additionally, rosemary breaks down acetylcholine in the brain, optimizing nerve cell communication and enhancing memory and concentration. Its benefits also extend to mood elevation and relief from anxiety and fatigue. Numerous studies have confirmed these properties. Interestingly, even ancient Greek students, 500 years before Christ, used rosemary for its impressive effects on memory and concentration. Rosemary improves circulation and helps prevent brain damage caused by strokes. It also has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects that protect the brain from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Anti-inflammatory effects. Rosemary has strong anti-inflammatory properties, making it helpful for people with joint pain caused by conditions like arthritis, osteoarthritis, or muscle pain. These benefits can be obtained by adding rosemary to daily cooking or drinking it as a tea. Applying rosemary essential oil directly to affected areas may also provide pain relief, according to research. Helps combat stress. Drinking a daily cup of rosemary tea can be especially helpful in times of stress or anxiety. It also promotes better sleep, which can alleviate stress-related insomnia. Strengthens the immune system. Rosemary boosts the immune system, protecting against infections. It has antimicrobial, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory effects, making it effective against viruses, bacteria, and fungi. It has also been historically used as a natural preservative to prolong the shelf life of food. Detoxifies fatty liver. Rosemary is beneficial for liver health as it reduces the accumulation of dietary fat in the organ. It not only helps those with fatty liver conditions, but also protects against cell damage and inflammation caused by medications or toxic substances. If you have liver issues, considering the use of rosemary as a seasoning or in the form of tea could be a wise choice. Beneficial for skin and hair. Rosemary is beneficial for skin and hair health, fighting premature aging, promoting wound healing, and providing relief for conditions such as seborrheic dermatitis, acne, psoriasis, and alopecia areata. There is evidence supporting its effectiveness in these areas. Eye benefits. Rosemary has potential in promoting eye health by combating signs of aging, such as cataracts and age-related macular degeneration. It not only reduces the risk of these conditions, but also slows down their progression as one ages. Rosemary's health benefits are mainly due to its polyphenols, specifically carnosol, rosmarinic acid, and caffeic acid. These compounds have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. Rosemary also contains flavonoids like apigenin and lutein, which interact with these polyphenols. Although much of this research has involved laboratory settings and the use of test tubes in animals, it is important to mention that human studies are increasingly confirming these benefits over time. How can rosemary be used? Infusion. Rosemary tea is made by steeping rosemary leaves in hot water. Decoction. Decoction is a method of extracting deeper flavors and compounds from rosemary by simmering its tougher parts, such as stems, in water, as opposed to the infusion method. Culinary uses. Rosemary is a popular ingredient in cooking and is commonly found in powdered form or various extracts. It serves as a protective agent against food toxins, especially when meats are cooked at high temperatures like grilling, barbecuing, or frying. Supplements and capsules. Rosemary supplements available in capsule form offer a concentrated and convenient way to reap its benefits. These capsules contain powdered rosemary, allowing for easy consumption without any prior preparation. Tinctures and topical uses. Rosemary tincture, a concentrated liquid extract mixed with alcohol, is taken orally for medicinal purposes. It provides a potent dose of the beneficial properties of rosemary. On the other hand, applying essential oils mixed with a base oil directly to the skin offers various benefits. This method is commonly used in cosmetic products like ointments and creams. Aromatherapy and fragrance. Rosemary is widely used in aromatherapy for its ability to reduce stress and promote relaxation. It can be diffused, added to baths, or used in massages. One popular method is placing rosemary sprigs in water to create a natural air freshener. In addition to its aromatic qualities, rosemary is also used for decorative purposes in gardening and has disinfectant properties. How to prepare rosemary tea. Ingredients: 1 or 2 teaspoons of fresh or dried rosemary leaves, 250 milliliter of boiled water, a standard cup, optional sweeteners like sugar, honey, or maple syrup. Preparation. If using fresh rosemary leaves, ensure they are cleaned thoroughly. In a pot, bring the water to a boil over medium heat. Once boiling, reduce the heat to low. Place the rosemary leaves in a cup. Pour the boiled water over the rosemary leaves. Allow the mixture to steep for 2 to 3 minutes. Serving. You can enjoy this tea either hot or cold, depending on your preference. Straining the tea is optional and does not affect the taste. No, while sweeteners can be added, it is best to enjoy the infusion without them to fully appreciate its aroma and benefits. Rosemary may have potential side effects and risks. Rosemary can potentially cause allergic reactions when consumed or applied topically. People with skin issues should consult a dermatologist before using rosemary directly on their skin. It should not be applied to open wounds or burns. Excessive consumption of rosemary can cause digestive issues. Drinking more than 2 cups of rosemary tea a day may lead to bloating, abdominal pain, nausea, or vomiting. While rosemary has health benefits, it's important to consume it responsibly. Start with small amounts and monitor your body's reaction, discontinuing use and seeking medical advice if any negative effects occur. Rosemary is not recommended for individuals with symptomatic gallstones or bleeding disorders. It increases bile secretion, which can lead to complications with gallstones. It also has mild anticoagulant properties, making it problematic for those prone to bleeding. Pregnant or breastfeeding individuals should avoid rosemary due to limited research on its effects. It is advisable for anyone with a bleeding disorder to consult a medical professional before using rosemary. Rosemary may interact with blood-thinning medications, potentially increasing their effectiveness. Excessive consumption of rosemary may also intensify the effects of antihypertensive medications and diuretics. Additionally, rosemary consumption may affect the effectiveness of anti-diabetic medications. It is important to exercise caution and consult healthcare professionals about potential medication interactions. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. I recommend watch these videos and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.